work session to order. Look, we're already ready. I didn't even get to ask you, so thank you for volunteering.
Voluntold.
So,
Yes.
Brother Bruce gonna lead us in prayer.
Surely. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this town. We thank you for so many public servants and private citizens who are working so hard to make this a better place. And we just pray, Father, for your protection. We pray that you would watch over us. We pray that we would make wise decisions for the betterment of our community. And even in this week, we look back, we think as Memorial Day approaches, and we thank you for those who have given their lives in order that we might have the freedoms that we enjoy. Lord, just bless the work of this council, bless the work of our city, and may we have a beautiful community where we get along with each other, where we work hard, where we serve, and where we are able to flourish. And we just pray all of these things in the matchless name of our Lord and Savior Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I was saying we had a preacher in the house, but we had two, so it's gonna be a good meeting tonight. So we'll go ahead and get started with the first item on our agenda. Michael Rice, you're up. So discussion that is necessary by EEF Michael Rice regarding Gene E. Stewart Boulevard resurfacing project. You doing all right tonight, Michael?
I am. How are y'all?
Good.
Then we get in front of the camera. So, what you guys have before you tonight is the recommendation letter for the Gene E. Stewart Boulevard resurfacing project. We bid the project out, opened it here at City Hall on May the 14th. We had 5 bidders. One bidder didn't turn in a bid. We had 4 that actually, or 5 that actually received, 1 didn't turn in. Very competitive bid, and the lowest qualified bidder for this project was Gary Ingram Grading and Paving. So what you'll have, I think, in the previous resolution, and when we brought it before the city council, we estimated the construction cost at approximately $300,000 for the city's portion. Came in just under that at $283,000. And then in the meantime, Reed had worked with Talladega County. They had a section that tied on the other side of the railroad tracks that it's county maintained that they wanted to do as well under this contract. So we worked with them, and we got that included as an ad alternate in the contract. So that portion, I think, is being worked with county officials and through the city for them to pay that portion of the contract if approved.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So the verbal agreement with them,
Okay.
But we will get something right.
Do any of you guys have any questions right now?
Thanks, Mike.
Looking forward to it. Thank y'all. Just one more thing. I know Reed's probably got you updated, but Walnut Road Bridge, they've pretty much finished it. We're waiting on some grass to grow and some punch list things to finish up, but after tomorrow, so, maybe Saturday or Tuesday, whenever they get back, you can open that road, to travel public.
Thank you so much. All right, next on our work session agenda is the discussion that is necessary by state to purchase vans for the transportation program at a match of 10% from the city. I know I've briefed you guys a little bit on this, but Ms. Nancy, do you and Greg wanna come up and share any more information? I know we've already agreed to this, we're excited. Is there anything you guys had to add?
Just thank you in advance so much. We have not had new vans in a long, long time. It's much needed, and we really, really, really appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you guys and everything you do over there at Safe, and I can't wait to get my my ride. Of course, I'll pay for it.
Yes, please do.
Can I ask, when do we think they might be here? When we place the order, when might they show up? I probably got
It's
told.
soon.
Okay.
We're not having to wait the 8
They're already
months.
made, they're already ready to go, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't wanna give a date because it's always past that date.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
So this is.
Reverend Pastor, you want to drive me around again?
Beg your pardon?
No, you got $2.
I got $2.
Alright, we'll move to number 3 on our work session agenda is discussion that's necessary by interim police chief Rondell East regarding pay adjustment for Officer Joshua Coleman effective May 18, 2024. You know, alright,
Yes, ma'am. Madam President, Mayor Heigl, thank you for listening to me. I come before you requesting an employee change of status report, from step 2 to step 3 for Officer Josh Coleman. Now, Officer Josh Coleman, 23 years of experience, 5.5 years, is an FBI certified instructor with the instructor development course, which is an educational requirement for our department. He has already met that. In order to get to step 3, of course, I would have to come before you. Now, he has 10 years in special ops, specializing in nuisance and city rebranding and special events. Also, community-oriented programs and community policing. In the 3 weeks, and if you don't mind, give you another thing. In the 3 weeks he's been here, and the time he's got acclimated with the way the department does things, I tasked him with 66 open cases throughout the city. He has already closed 9, with 15 more in action. He included 1 case, and let me tell you, all city properties have been reviewed and corrective actions identified to each department. I looked at him and said, "What are you doing, man?" And he goes, "How can I tell you to clean your house if mine ain't clean?" So I'm requesting that you grant step 3.
let me, I do have a question, I think, the rest of us have some too. Why, with the certification and with all his accolades, why wasn't it given off top?
Well, according to the rules and regulations and with the, y'all haven't met to actually vote on the educational requirements through HR. So we decided to come before you and do it this way.
Is HR here because I don't believe that.
That's
I'm
what
not
I
gonna say
was.
it's not, I'm not gonna say it's not true, but that's not my understanding. I don't know if everybody
I
else.
knew we were supposed to go back and meet and talk about some of this, but I thought we took care of this before we hired him. I thought Kelly took care of this.
Chief Johnson did on initial form have step 3. I was informed that that wasn't correct.
Is Jane here? Because my understanding was when we redid the pay plan, the format, we took the education line out, but they added the additional steps for the people that had the education. Am I the only person that thought that?
That's absolutely correct. However, because the policy hasn't been rewritten yet, anything above the norm has to come to the city council for approval.
So this is above what we've already,
Yes.
okay.
So he's not going to step 4, he would go to step 3, but because we have not rewritten the policy, we have to continue to use the old policy to the new step.
But still, why didn't it come to us like when we were ready to hire him? Because we knew he had this.
How is it that this is a surprise when it was done 3 weeks ago and it wasn't considered at that time? It doesn't seem correct.
Well, and sir, to your point, 3 weeks ago, I did give the step 3. I was told that wasn't correct, that it needed to be step 2 and to come before you to do step 3.
But
So I'm here doing it.
Accounting and finance office, he's correct, we did not get the paperwork for step 3 until after the council had met.
where's HR at?
Is
Is Jane here, Mayor?
No, she's not.
But
Yeah,
what I'm
I'm
hearing
getting
is
it.
that he tried to do it as 3, the right way that we're talking about the first
I
time. He was
did,
told no.
and I was told no. So I'm standing before you to get it right.
Yeah.
Who told you no right now?
HR.
Okay, alright.
HR told him no, because accounting and finance told him no, because again, the rules state anything above the norm has to come to you.
And the new
But
policy
I
hasn't
thought,
been effective.
I thought Kelly came to us and we gave the blessings when Kelly was here.
No, we did that for Malcolm Kelly, and who was the other officer you recently hired, chief? I'm sorry, Captain.
I didn't hear you. Say
Who was
again.
the officer you hired, who was the other officer you hired?
Malcolm Kelly or Brendan Miller?
Right.
So we done it, so I got my people mixed up. We
Yes.
did, we done it, okay.
When we got the paperwork, the council had already met. For Josh Coleman, we won't retro it without a decision from the
council, we can't pay him without the permission of the council.
But I just heard terminology, this is not a normal hire. What is a normal hire? Why is there always an exception when we do something,
A
we go
normal
back and
hire
change?
is a step one,
Why is this not a normal hire?
because he's got 23 years' experience, he already has his FBI certification, which we would not have to pay.
But that was not considered at the time of the hire.
It was, that's why they're trying to do a step 3, but anything over the norm has to come to the council for approval.
But we're also talking about something retroactive, which is against policy.
We won't go retro, the agenda specifically states it would start on Saturday, May 18th.
It's past May 18th.
Which is the current payroll we're in now.
I'm not disagreeing, I just don't want us to make the mistake again, like.
But I don't think the chief didn't make a mistake, he
did,
tried it
yeah.
the correct way the
Not-
first time.
But I'm saying, we just wanna make sure in the future, we have this in place when we bring
So we need to
people
go,
on.
I'm sorry, sis, so we need to go and, somebody needs to tell Jane, and I'm assuming it's come from your office, Mr. Mayor. We need to get that policy written, stamped, and done, so we don't go through this again. Am I right on that, Ms. Alex?
That's correct.
Well, that's what needs to happen. Can you make a note, Mr. Mayor?
You got
So
it.
we do apologize and.
Sorry, Ron.
Thank
Well,
you.
I wasn't gonna even mention for May
Procedure
10th,
to
June
that.
1st, it's fine for me, just as long as we do it.
What was that,
There's
Amber?
a procedure to that, you can't just change rules, there's a procedure to that. It has
Well,
be
we need to
posted
start
for
the procedure
employees.
and get it going, is what we need to do.
Alright, well, thank you so much, for coming and explaining it to us, and we do apologize.
Thanks, Ron.
I got one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got another one.
Alright, so discussion that's necessary by interim police chief Rondell Muse regarding potential golf cart city ordinance.
What I am asking you to propose, what I'm proposing to you is a rough draft for exactly that, a golf cart ordinance. I have researched different cities that do have those in place. And I believe with, of course, the tone of the golf carts and the citizens, how they feel about it, this is the best course of action to go through. Now, what I brought you is a rough draft. What would happen is, Mr. Livingston will of course have to go through it and vet it. So what I'm gonna do is just give you the real quick and dirty points of it. You can read it later. This is an issue with the city clerk's office. What we'll do is, we'll have golf cart evaluations once a year. We'll come to your neighborhood. We will ensure that your golf cart follows the ordinance. And once, that is assured, you will get a sticker from the city clerk's office. They will be impressed with us, $25 fee. And the areas that the council designates as golf cart areas is where those golf carts will be trained. That's real quick and dirty.
You're the only one that has that issue.
Where are people gonna be allowed to go on golf courses? Is that safe?
Ask him, Lee. Ask him.
How are we dealing with the safety concepts that are already in place?
There are already, and if you look at it, headlights, turn signals, flag, orange in color, reflective stickering, insurance, seatbelt, seat sticker, all of that is included in the ordinance. When you fill out your registration from the city in order to drive your carts on that street, then you also, take care of any liability or whatever away from the city. This process, Vestavia Hills, Mountain Brook, Orange Beach, Foley, I have looked at many of them, even some Attorney General's opinions. And so it is out there, it is vetted, and it is done.
What about the driver? Is that plate, it's gotta be valid, she has a valid driver's license?
Same thing, well, there's age restriction, and in the ordinance, you can put in there a driver's license, you don't have to. Once you designate this street as a designated cart street, then that person will have to follow the ordinance as written.
But it's
So
still,
they don't have to have a driver's license?
Well, I would recommend put that in there, but that depends on what you put in. Just like you decide what street they can have it on and what they can't. Of course, state law says 25 miles an hour and less. You can't, take away from state law, but you can add to it. And like I said, this is just a proposal. Right now, And there's two gentlemen here, you remember them from last council meeting? I'm getting all kind of blown up about golf carts and all this, why don't you do an ordinance? So, okay, I'll propose it. It's not something you gotta do, but it's something that they want.
I appreciate you taking the time to come up with a rough draft. And like
I
you said,
agree.
It's the first step in the right direction.
Good job, Rondell.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So is this something we need to consider?
Well,
The reason I'm asking is because our department would have to work with the police department and WIN.
I just feel that as is, what we've gotten now, I don't think that is, we would be satisfied with as is. There would have to be, if it would be considered, I think Wynn's gonna need to look over and there's gonna have to be some things added or, you know, it's gonna have to be revised some.
So you want.
Yeah, so we need a review period.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
that's what I was
yeah.
making sure of before we start doing all this work.
Yeah.
It's a done deal, that we're not gonna do.
We'll need to review it and maybe talk next meeting about the changes we'd like to see and then at the same time, then could overlook it,
Perfect.
legality aspects.
Okay, we'll get with you, chief.
Thank you.
Alright, so next on the work session agenda is number 5, discussion that is necessary by Councilman Ashton Fowler to appoint Tristan Sims to the Nuisance and Abatement Board for District 1, term runs concurrent with city council term.
Yeah, so I had both of my representatives resign and I've gotten in touch with Tristan. He's gladly willing to serve. He said, let him know, give him the information. I've got his information for you, so we can get him in touch with your
Alright.
meeting schedules.
Okay, so next, number 6, emergency ad item, discussion that is necessary by Fire Chief Nate Osgood to refurbish the ladder truck due to failure of annual testing and unit being out of service. Alright, Nate, I know you and I talked on Tuesday.
Yes.
About this, and then I know, what I got, the list of items I got, I don't know if they're a part of the emergency or.
So,
I guess this is what I'm asking, what is, what's
Stuff
the
that
emergency?
failed.
What is the stuff that failed that we need to get taken care of so we can get the ladder truck back on the road? What is that?
Understood, so I'm gonna have to give you some information to let you accurately answer that. The ladder, the 104-foot ladder on top of the truck, in order to replace the cable that failed during annual testing, has to be completely disassembled, taken off of the top of the truck, laid on the floor, restrung, and then reassembled and put back on top. So
Okay.
this is a massive job, massive undertaking. So,
That's the first thing, cause there
Yes.
were 2 things, right?
so that was the main failure point that said we have to take this unit out of service because of this cable.
Okay,
I would liken that to, if you replace the head gasket in your car, you replace all the other parts that you have to touch along the way while you have it disassembled. Because otherwise, you put it back together with a new head gasket on it, and then you have other old parts that you just reused and put back together again that are then gonna start failing when you could have replaced it while you're there. So you have 2 proposals. One is for that. One is to replace everything for the aerial component of the truck. So that's hydraulic lift cylinders, that's pulleys, that's cables, that's, hydraulic hoses, that's everything that, waterway seals on the waterway going up the ladder, everything that would have to kind of be touched or dismantled as they replaced the cable.
so let me ask you this, and I'm not a car person, so you'll have to explain it. So why are we replacing parts that don't need replacing?
Because they're 20 years old.
Okay.
And if we don't do the PM now while we have it taken apart, it's gonna cost us vastly more in the future as more things fail.
And when you take it apart, you may break something that's fragile based on age, you may not put that together right.
I would hope the chances of that would be low, but anything's possible. Now, both of your proposals do have a contingency built into them also. So obviously, if we don't use the contingency, we don't have to pay it, but hopefully that little bit of contingency prevents me from coming back and saying, oh, we found something, or oh, we broke something, I need more money. This should cover all of that.
So let me ask you, so if we do that, replacing the ladder, just getting that
Yes.
so it can pass inspection.
Yes.
What's the time frame of the truck being back on the road?
4 to 6 months.
Wow, so you're telling me we're gonna have a fire truck that's down 4 to 6 months?
That's what I'm telling
While
you.
we're just replacing the ladder and a couple of cables?
Yes, sir.
Already down.
Yeah, it's down now, and the anticipated timeline is 4 to 6 months
I got you.
to get all that in and back together.
I say we just replace the ladder and the cable would be done with it.
Now, that proposal is the $98,000 proposal.
For a ladder and just cables?
Yes. Like I said, the whole 104-foot ladder has to be removed from the top of the truck.
Well, you should have that in your budget, shouldn't you? You still got some of that left?
Have some of what left?
Your earmark fund program.
No, sir.
Nate, the 98,000, that's including the ladder,
That's,
cables.
that's,
and
the- that's getting the aerial device,
And getting new parts,
right.
okay.
The second proposal is what I had come to y'all with at capital time, both last year and this year. And it includes some other things like rebuilding the valves in the pump system. You know, it includes things like replacing some outdated emergency lighting, because that truck still has some incandescent bulb emergency lighting on it. It involves those types of things also. And I would, again, you know, kind of using the vehicle illustration, I would kind of liken that to, you had to take your car to the shop because the water pump went out, and he tells you, oh, you need brake pads while you're here. You know, your brake pads are worn out. So you can either replace the brake pads now, or you can wait until they get into the rotors, and then you have to take it back and pay 3 times as much because you didn't do the preventative maintenance on it now.
So does the truck need brakes?
No, that was an illustration, but all the pump valves, all of the, you know, all of the lighting, the seat cushions are ripped, you know, those types of things that a 20-year-old truck needs a little TLC. And that's what the second proposal is that you have there, that
Is the same company gonna do all of it?
the same company could do all of it.
But that's gonna put the truck out of commission for, more months.
No, it's the same amount of time,
They can work on everything.
because they can work on everything at once.
So if we do this, so if we refurbish this truck, do everything that you're wanting, there's no need to buy a new one, a new ladder truck.
We're not trying to buy a new ladder truck, we're trying to buy a new pumper truck or engine. 2 different trucks for 2 different jobs. Now, the lifespan of an engine for us is 30 years. We try to get 30 years out of an engine. This ladder truck is 20 years old. I anticipate to have this truck for at least another 20 years, minimum. But the replacement cost of this unit in today's market is well over $1.5 million to replace that ladder truck that's sitting out there. So we can either spend 168 to refurbish it, give it the TLC that it needs, bring it up to where we need it for the next 20 years, or we can do the 98 that we have to do and do the rest later at potentially increased cost and more downtime to the truck.
Is 98 the cheapest we can get it done now?
That's the have to, it's
Yes.
the failed stuff. right?
Yes.
Am I looking at the right one? Is the 98 including a hydraulic pump and some other things, power takeoff?
No,
Am I looking at the wrong proposal?
I believe you're looking at the,
Alright, let me do some more clicking.
But, all right, the main question is, do we have money?
And after talking to Alex, we're only able to find the money for the emergency stuff. Just it, cause I mean, we have to do that, so we have to find the money for the emergency stuff. So Nate, do you have any plans for the additional?
not in this budget year, no.
So we'll just have to do the 98, right? Where do we find the 98 from?
Sir, it'll come out of the general fund?
I mean, cause we have to do this no matter what.
Are there any other capital projects or things that could be deferred by the departments in the next year?
Well, I actually have that request as well.
And there should be a total on the,
There is.
the capital
with $250,000. We spent $198,000 on the museum, the roof, the CE&I. Then we spent $20,115 on the ductwork, and on tonight's agenda was supposed to be the approval for the computers for the city of Sylacauga, because we're using computers from 2015.
This is, I got a couple of questions, Alex, so
Alex,
this is,
$11,000.
What's left?
so,
If you approve the computers. If you don't approve the computers, your balance is 31.
and this is at the end of last month, basically, at the end, cause
For
we're.
capital?
Yeah,
This is as of right now.
right.
If you approve the computers tonight, you guys will have $11,000. If you don't approve the computers, you'll have 31,000. And then we'll still be using the 2015 computers.
No, we can't do that.
How much is still in the budget?
For capital,
No, it's
No,
just,
for
no, for
fire
Nate.
department.
for Nate, I believe it's around 900. And what did I tell you earlier, Nate? Was it 910,000?
So something like that.
But
Now,
that's where payroll's gotta come from too, don't it?
Yes,
That's
not just
entire-
payroll, but
entire-
training,
Got to knock out here and stuff.
equipment, payroll. 910,246,74
But wait a minute,
And look, if we get to September and there's excess in my budget, you know, from whatever point we can pull from, I mean, I'm fine with obviously pulling that and reimbursing, but there are still things throughout this year that I have to operate. And if we start pulling funding now, I'm going to find in some shape, form, or fashion, oh, I can't buy turnout gear for this firefighter to go into fires because we fixed the fire truck, and you can't trade one safety thing for another.
we got 3 months left to a budget, Alex, is
Four,
that
sir.
correct? So 4 months?
Till October 1st, we're gonna start the budget, on the first week in June.
So is there anything you can give up for 4 months, Nate?
I already did cut to get the tools, so I've already cut some out of what I was planning on purchasing this
What
year.
about, we know we're sitting down doing the 98, we have that money, why, and it's gonna be down 4 to 6 months.
Right.
Why don't we get to that 4-month mark and say, oh, we do have money, extra money, whether you, general, capital.
Now, that will extend the downtime, because then they're gonna have to order extra parts and wait on parts.
Okay.
So if we go that route, we're gonna basically have 2 rounds of out of service. Initial repair and then back out of service again for it.
We never leave, it's just getting the parts there.
So we're still gonna have the truck here for some period of time until they get all the parts, and then obviously, like I said,
But you can't use it though, right?
we cannot use the aerial on it.
Alright, so I think the best decision right now is for us to just do the emergency stuff so we can get the truck, back on the road.
That's all we can do.
And that money's gonna have to come out of the general fund.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and that's why we're trying to do better with planning and, spending, so in cases like, when things like this come up, we can take care of it, but there's no way around this, we're gonna have to,
That's correct.
yeah.
Nate, are we gonna have the agreement amended, because on the agreement for the 98,000, it says the truck's gonna be down for 6 to 8 months, not 4 to 6.
Well, I mean, I think from a private business perspective, that number on their paper is a little bit of, you know, under promising and over delivering. So I think
So you don't think it'd take that?
they're saying 6 to 8 on their paper, based on the conversations I've had.
Just hoping they can deliver.
It should be sooner than that.
I'm with you.
Alright. The next, item on the agenda is discussion by City Clerk Treasurer Alexandra Lambert regarding the This Is an Abatement bid and award. Contract review by Wayne Livingston, City Attorney. And Wayne, I know you and I talked about this, and the bid, the contract, everything is the same, nothing has changed, right?
I'm up here for the duration, so I'm just gonna move
Oh.
up here, so people can hear me.
Oh, okay.
I'm up for the duration of the work session.
Okay, alright. So,
And that's incorrect. There was an original typo, and if you notice on your new proposed agendas, there's something in yellow, the 8.5 by 11 form. We typed in $160 an hour for the skid steer with brush attachment, and it's actually $250. which is fine. It's still the lowest bid, significantly. So, there was 2 bids, and Mince Machine is the lowest bidder. We did nothing on this bid differently than what we've done in the past. Wynn has reviewed the contract, as has Mince Machine. We will be working directly with Officer Coleman from Nuisance and Abatement to make sure we don't overspend on his budget, which is approximately, I believe it's $166,000 is what he has to assist in cleaning up the city. And that's because we haven't spent anything but $5,000 so far.
Good.
It sounds like, we're ready to roll. What's the start date on that?
June 1st, ma'am. And it's gonna be for 2 years. So it'll end on May 30th in 2026.
Sounds like you already have your work cut out for you.
Yes. Now that everything worked out, now that worked out. So I'm talking to them.
Alright, any questions on that one, guys?
Glad to see it get started.
And I'm glad Josh Coleman's here to, help us out.
Alright, so we'll move on to number 8, discussion that is necessary by City Clerk Treasurer Alexander Lambert to discuss applicants for the Historical Commission for a term of 3 years, ending March 2027. There were 3 vacancies and 3 applicants, Tara Douglas, Linda Dixon, and Missy Turner.
Right, those were the 3 vacancies. Their terms expired, and all 3 of them reapplied, and we had no other interviewees. So, I mean, yeah, that's why we didn't have interviews.
Any questions on that? Alright, number 9, discussion that is necessary by City Clerk Treasurer Alexandria Lambert for elected officials to attend the Municipal Leadership Institute and lead graduation ceremonies in Orange Beach, Alabama, October 30, 2024 to November the 1st, 2024. Expenses will come from E&L budget in fiscal year 2025.
So we are coming before the council to ask that Mayor James Heigl, Ashton Fowler, and Nate Brewer be allowed to attend this, not only to receive their graduation diplomas for meeting the 40 hours, but also to attend the training.
Ashton said 400 hours.
It's 40, sir?
It felt like 400.
I think he's confused.
What's the total for this?
The total for this, and each individual's total is different. And the reason for that is.
And look, hold on, and let's go
Go ahead.
one at a time with the questions to y'all, so.
Thank you.
I know, Laura's going first.
So the total expense in FY '24, which we will budget for, is going to be
25.
$5,864.99. It's item number 21 on your agenda. And that's for them to attend from the 29th to the 1st of November. And each individual is different, and the reason for that is Mayor Heigl was able to stay in the hotel where the conference is. We do have reservations for all 3 of them. However, there's no more rooms available for anyone other than the mayor. The other 2 council members, they'll be in the same hotel, but they're in different rooms, obviously. But the prices are a little different because we can't get the exact rooms.
So is that the total overall for everything?
Yes, ma'am, for all 3 of them. That includes, their registration fee of $365. That includes their meals. That includes if they bring a spouse for a meal, which they're entitled to, per the league. That includes their meals and their mileage, which we reimburse for everybody, not just elected officials.
Okay, Laura, you have any more questions? I'm gonna go down the road. Joan? You have some questions?
I said I don't.
Oh, you don't, okay, I'm sorry. Lee?
We had a rule at one time that we were avoiding doing training unless it was necessary for someone's job as part of maintaining a certification or something that was a requirement. We're struggling so much to find money. I question whether or not we need to spend $6,000 to send people to pick up a graduation certificate and receive municipal training.
And I'm glad you brought that up. The Alabama League of Municipalities and KIB have recently signed a bill that begins on 1 January that states that all municipal elected officials will receive mandatory training, and it will be paid for by their respective cities.
Yeah,
So we're not just sending them to get a diploma, sir, they're going to attend every class, every training, and they will continue to receive credit.
And we're struggling for money on other key things like fire trucks, and I don't think that.
And this would be done in fiscal year 25.
I agree with Lee. Alright, is that it, y'all? Have any more questions? Alright, well, I just wanna say congratulations. I mean, I've been here longer than Nate, and he's completed his, and he's about to get his certification and graduate. I mean, I think it's a big deal, and it's an honor. You guys should be proud. You put in the time, you put in the hard work, and I think it's worth celebrating. I wish I would've been focused enough so I could have, but.
Councilman Nix, thank you for saying that, and I'd like to say this, Mr. Perry, if I may. This training that we completed was to help us better our community. Okay, this was to help us learn and to achieve and to get us going in the right direction, number one. Number two, any training I've ever been to, I've never turned in gas mileage, and I've never turned in meals. I've always paid out of my own pocket. Now,
And neither has Councilman Fowler or the mayor.
I understand. Number three, I am very honored to be able to go and represent our city and go to more training at the convention. Thank you.
Alright, so we don't have any more questions about that. We'll move on to number 10. Discussion that is necessary for city clerk treasurer Alexander, I can talk today, let's start over. Number 10, discussion that is necessary for city clerk treasurer Alexander Lambert and administrative assistant Nicole Brown to attend the municipal clerks winter conference election conference in Orange Beach, Alabama, November 20th through the 22nd, 2024. Expenses will come from A&F's budget in fiscal year 25. Alex?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. The total for the training for Nicole Brown and myself, and that includes the early bird registration special, would total $4,502.42. We both did try to get in the hotel, but this is election training for every city in Alabama. They're booked. We're not staying anywhere that wasn't recommended on the list. This also includes meals, lodging, and mileage in the registration. This would come out of the FY25 budget as well.
So the taxpayers are paying for 5 people to go to the beach?
No, the taxpayers are paying. Ms. Nix, would you like to handle this one?
Well, I mean, it really doesn't matter what I say, you know? If people are gonna see it as a trip to the beach, I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. But it is training. I mean, you are having to work, you are having to show up to the class. I mean, they're taking attendance and making sure you're there doing the work. It just so happens to be in Orange Beach.
That's right.
I mean, I think,
We should have to pay for the lodging for elected officials.
but we pay for lodging everywhere. I mean, we're doing everything we do for the city. I mean, this is,
Complete the training, you can go.
it's okay.
I
We're
don't
just,
want the taxpayers to pay more.
alright, well, what we're gonna do, it's on the agenda, just let your vote reflect how you feel, and then we'll just move on. That's what we're gonna do, so that way we don't get into a long, drawn out discussion. That's why everybody has their right to vote, so, that's it. So we'll just move on to number 11, discussion that is necessary by city clerk treasurer Alexander Lambert to provide a financial status update.
Yes, ma'am. Before I provide the financial status update, I would just like to thank the city council and the department heads for working with the city clerk's office. As you are aware, we've lost another employee, short notice on the spot. So things are delayed, but everybody is working well with us, to ensure, that the mission continues. So thank you, and thank you, Mr. Mayor. He's working to assist us in, hiring people, and we're looking at outside consultants as well.
Have you, I know you and I talked, you've had some people to pass?
Yes, ma'am, we're waiting on the interviews, and I believe the mayor has an update under the mayor's report for the accounting and finance, as well as the city.
I don't know if this is possible, maybe at each, meeting, or at least, maybe at each meeting, can you give us an update on how many applicants we have to apply these departments that, because we're shorthanded everywhere, so.
I'm sorry, I'm unaware. So that would be the mayor's lien. Sorry.
You read my mind, Mayor.
And he has it.
Alright.
Yeah, we're sure.
But it's okay, we're slowly but surely.
That's what
getting there.
laptops are doing.
Yeah. So we had on April 25th an audit regarding safe in their vans for the senior program. And that also encompassed the park and recreation, since they're handling that. Sandy Sorensen is the one that did the audits with the auditors from East Alabama, and she got rave reviews. The only error we had was we did not have the 2023 audit on file, which you're aware we did not complete till recently. As soon as we got the audit, she sent it to East Alabama, and now we are in compliance. So just wanted to give you an update and give some kudos to Ms. Sorensen. Are there any questions on the Capitol at this time?
No, not for me. Yeah, we are checking off the list, so it's nice to see that list trickling down. Just Alex, at each, I don't know if we need to do it at each meeting, or maybe once a month, maybe the first meeting in the month, if not each meeting, just, bring us an updated sheet with the new balance, cause I know the balance, how often does the balance change?
Upon council approval of something on the Capitol list.
But no, but we don't have any money going into a capital fund?
No,
We
ma'am.
don't have any money out?
Right, we've used, we were allocated 250,000, whereas previously, each year, you guys were only given 30,000.
We just don't want that list to fall below the wayside and we forget about it.
Incorrect. I think, when we do the FY 25 budget, I think it would probably be in the best interest of the city if the council comes up with an amount that they would like us to do for fiscal year 25 for capital. And that would help us also, knock down some items on this list, which we received in training yesterday. That was a suggestion. Okay, Mr. Perryman and Laura, these next ones are for you. The last council meeting, you guys brought up, Civic Plus / Municode. Civic Plus bought out Municode. The city of Sylacauga has not been in compliance with our ordinances on the Municode website. Working with Officer Coleman, he has a vast amount of knowledge. He provided us some contacts in the past that he's worked with, and they provide us a great deal of information. We've contacted Civic Plus, and on the accounts payable, you'll notice a line item added for fiscal year 23 for $1,300. That's our past due amount, and that's because we have Municode on our city website page, even though we're not paying for it. We also owe for fiscal year 24, so you'll notice the amount on the fiscal year 24 has changed slightly to become compliant with what's on our city website. We've sent and requested estimates for 2014 all the way to 2023 in Word documents per their request. To get stuff loaded on the Municode website, the price is increasing next year from $950 to $1,040. And
One-time thing to upload everything we need to upload?
no, sir, that's a separate cost. I asked them to provide me 7 quotes for 7 years, and it's 1 page at $18. And in fiscal year 25, that amount's going up to $23.40
Per page.
per page, sir. We have looked at it, and we have over 100 ordinances that have not been listed on Municode, which I'm sure everybody's aware of, because we do have people calling the city clerk's office inquiring, which is what brought us to where we are today.
And this is something we must do, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What?
So we are working to get estimates, and once we get them, we'll have to come to the city council, so we know the amount of money we're dealing with.
And it's gonna be a big one-time cost, and then is it gonna be a monthly fee or an annual fee?
It's gonna be every time the city council approves an ordinance, ma'am, we will have to then go to Civic Plus and ask for an estimate. They will provide it to us before they agree to upload it on our website, and we would have to do a purchase order, which we do for everything.
Wow, and we have to?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You may be going over this as well, but do you have the new sales tax balances?
Stand by. So are there any questions?
Sorry, before I forgot.
No, not on that, but kinda in relation, I was gonna ask you, the city website, is that up to date?
Three ordinances behind, three meetings behind.
I know that, I know somebody,
I
asked.
gotta hit up with it today.
Yeah, about the, meeting, so maybe we'll probably get that updated.
Laura, do you have any questions about Minicode? Lee?
Thank you for being thorough.
All right, so the total budget after you guys approve the budget for the month of April is 18.9 million and change. The departments are 14.5 million. Appropriation and contracts are approved for 2.4 million, give or take. We also transfer out money for bond and interest, workman's comp, capital, and city hall improvements. As far as the bank accounts, the city of Sylacauga, as everybody's aware, has 26 total bank accounts. As of April 30th, we received all the bank balances and we printed all the documentation in Springbrook. However, due to a variety of reasons, I have only been able to balance 16 of the 26 for the month of April. So that leaves 10 that are not in balance for the month of April. Of those 10, 5 are not in balance since fiscal year 2022. 1 is not in balance as of the beginning of fiscal year 2024. And 4, I have not balanced for fiscal year, or for April 2024. Are there any questions? No. Okay, moving right along. So as of May 1st, 2024, we have the departments broken out and what the remaining balances are and what their percentages are for the rest of the year. E&L still has 55% of their budget available. Accounting and finance is at 47. The court is at 36. The police is at 41. Fire, 41%. Animal shelters at 45%. The street is 45%. The shop is at 39%. Planning is at 69% available. Building is 69% available. And the building custodian has 34% available. And
Sounds
that's,
like everybody's on track.
yes, sir.
Pretty well.
Okay, I also wanted to address the training, since that is a topic of discussion, since placing the agenda out for the elected officials in the city clerk's office. We have the reports in front of me since 2021, 2022, 3, and 4. On average, if we do a consolidated percentage for the city and the amount for fiscal year 24, the city is significantly lower on spending for training. That is due to, obviously, the lack of personnel. There are certain departments, not to pick on anybody, the police department, building, and fire, because they've recently hired unqualified people. So their averages are up this year as compared to previous years. But the street, the shop, and finance are a lot lower because we don't have the people yet. But right now, the city has only spent $35,000 in training, as opposed to $70,000 in 23, and in 24, $59,000, and in 21. So, I mean, you get the point. The numbers are going down. But eventually, we're gonna have to continue to train our folks. So,
How close are we, do you have the numbers on the earmarked funds
no,
as far as?
it's on the computer. I did not print it, and I apologize, I can send it.
No, I was just asking since you're
Okay.
talking numbers.
Yeah,
Well, I was just wondering how close you are to that 4 million, the first 4 million.
the last time I had checked, we were only at 1.5 million. With a few departments in the hole, as you're aware of. So, all right, the final thing on my list, sorry, Mayor,
No problem.
is, I think as the community and the council are aware, we intend to go to the bond markets. And with going to the bond markets, the overall decision on who is selected, yes, is up to the city council. However, according to the Government Financial Officers Association, it is recommended that we do a competitive process and solicit for bids, as we do for street and paving, infrastructure, and anything else. In addition, the MSRP recommends that the finance office also do a competitive bid transaction proposal. We have already sent it to those people that have contacted the City of Sylacauga City Clerk's Office and asked them to provide bids. And those will be presented at the next city council meeting.
Good job.
Are there any questions? We just want what's best for the city, and we don't just wanna take anybody. It needs to stay competitive, and we need to continue following the processes that we do for everything else.
That way we get the best price for our money.
Yes, sir, the best bang for our buck.
Sure.
Are there any questions?
Thanks, Miss Allen.
Is that it, Alex?
Yes, ma'am, that's it.
Does anybody else have anything to add to the, work session agenda? Are we ready to go into the council meeting? Do we need a break? Oh, well, yeah, we do. Yeah, the things that we're gonna go on tonight. So let's go over the new business. Number one, action that's gonna authorize the mayor to enter into a nuisance abatement contract with Mixed Machine effective June 1st. They were the lowest bidder. Number two, action that's necessary to approve a resolution to reallocate funds from Sylacauga Park and Recs Department from their earmarked funds. Number three, action that's necessary to approve, for construction, engineering, and inspection services to Engineering and Environmental and Forestry Services Company for the Gene E. Stewart Boulevard. And I'm just going over these, here, y'all, because we're gonna read the whole resolution.
You're fine.
In the council meeting, if that's okay.
We're gonna do
Instead of
what?
just reading it twice. Just scanning
Oh,
over,
okay.
the things. Alright, action that's necessary to approve, to authorize the mayor to enter into a resurfacing contract for Gene E. Stewart Boulevard with Ingram Grading and Paving Incorporated. Number five, action that is, necessary to approve resolution to enter into an agreement with, East Alabama Regional Planning and Development Commission to purchase the 5, vans that was safe. Number six, the emergency item for the, ladder on the fire truck. Number seven, action, there needs to be an action to approve the capital purchase of the computers. Number eight, action that's necessary for, to appoint Tara Douglas to the Historical Commission. Number nine, action to appoint Linda Dixon to the Historical Commission. Number 10, action to appoint Missy Turner to the Historical Commission. Number 11, action necessary to, approve a pay adjustment for our Officer Joshua Coleman. Number 12, action that's necessary to approve appointment for Tristan Sims, District 1 to the Nuisance Abatement Board. Number 13, action that's necessary to approve, the training and graduation ceremony for Mayor James Heigl, Ashton and Nate. Number 14, action that's necessary to approve the city clerk treasurer, Alex and also Nicole Brown for their, training. Is y'all's just training or is y'all's graduation too, Alex?
No, ma'am,
It's
ours
just
is
training.
just election training, and that's the entire makeup of this, training.
Okay. Alright, number 15, action that's necessary to approve payroll for the month of April. Number 16, action that's necessary to approve fiscal year 2023 accounts payable invoices totaling in, does this mean to say 2023?
Yes, ma'am, and that was for the past due amount of unit code.
Okay, is it gonna be spelled out in the, on the agenda?
Here's your document, it's on the tablet. I'm sorry,
I was just wondering if it was gonna be spelled out when I read it over here.
it just says the amount of $1,300.
Alright, I'll remember to read that in. And number 17, action that's necessary to approve the fiscal year 2024 accounts payable. Alright, so now do we have any, fighting with any additional items for the work session? Alright, any more questions? Alright, are we ready to go into the, meeting?
We may have to amend the agenda and rewrite a resolution. For item 14, depending on what the council decides.
Yeah, okay, so I think we're in agreement that we're just gonna do the emergency, part, the 9. Okay, so can you get that ready, so we can go ahead and,
We have a 5-minute break, that's all it'll take.
so we'll- Alright, so we'll take a 5-minute break, so she can, rewrite the resolution for number 14, and we'll,
So is the 98, we have a quote for that, and it's a fixed price, there's no possibility of a.
There is a contingency of, I believe it's $5,000, Nate?
And
So-
that's in there, so we have a contingency.
Yes, sir.
alright, so you wanna go ahead and get that ready?
What time is it?
It is 6:59.
Thank you.
Back in 5 minutes.
Alright, so anybody needs to go to the bathroom?
Walk
drink
your
some
dog.
water, and then we're gonna start in 5 minutes.